I think Saint Denis was one guillotine choke away from winning. I was sitting here shouting at my phone, no more damn chokes, just strike, bro, strike. I don't know why he kept on going for that.
On paper, this is probably the best card ever. But as far as the main event, like, I really wanted Conor McGregor there, bro.
Everybody wanted to see something extreme like Conor McGregor versus Brock Lesnar or some shit like that, you know? That's what we expected out of UFC 300, especially with all the hype.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Isaac Lawrence, and I'm here with my guy, HAYK. And this is an episode of Fight Fan Culture Podcast. I believe this is episode 6. I just want to run through some of the things that had happened, some of the things that are going to go on in the near future. Anyways, HAYK, tell me, man, how's everything been, bro? I know you went to Tahoe. Like, you know, just talk to me, bro.
Bro, first off, I want to start. It's been 6 podcasts we're doing already.
Yeah, bro.
Flies by, you know. It's like we're having a lot of fun doing this, and it's kind of like flowing along. I really enjoy this. So 6 of them. Can't wait until we get up to 60 or 600, you know. And I'm still waiting on 100,000 followers so we can pick that tattoo spot. So let me know, people.
For real, man. Yeah, man. I mean, to your point, it's been crazy. We've been doing the online podcast. We've been doing the in-person podcast, different guests. I think just the whole team has just been working really hard.
Yeah, for sure.
So we just started this year, January, and we've already accomplished so much. And maybe the numbers on the outside don't look like it, but I mean, we know how hard it is to get the numbers that we're getting right now. So.
Oh yeah, we put in a lot of work, and it's showing online. You know, the back end numbers are showing, so it's only higher from here. So we got some big guests coming up in the near future, so that's just gonna solidify where we are.
Yeah, man. So, like I was mentioning earlier, you went to Tahoe while the UFC 299 card was going on. Tell us a little bit about your vacation.
It was nice. It was nice. Got to go up there with the family. A lot of family time. You know, it was a shitload of snow. The whole time, my daughter was looking out the window saying, "Papa, look, snow!" So it was a fun time. You know. Got to throw her around in the snow, got to snowboard a little, got to decompress from the city life a little. Didn't get to watch much of the UFC except for the last 2 fights, which were the important ones kind of for me. But yeah, it was a good weekend, bro. It was a good week. So how about you? How was your week?
Week's been good, man. Just been working hard, doing a lot of like editing and networking behind the scenes for Fight Fan Culture. And last weekend, I was at Adam's house and we did a live stream.
Yeah.
Man, that was like, it was our first live stream ever. I've never done a live stream like basically ever in my life. So to set that up, it had its challenges. Let's just put it at that. So now going forward, I know what to expect, and we could hopefully be better prepared. But man, it was fun. Just typically, if I'm not out at a bar or at an event watching the actual fights, I'm usually at my house, bro. Yeah. And I'm just watching the fights by myself. You know, my girl, she might be just like watching them here and there, but you know, she's doing her thing. So to be able to watch the fights with your friends who are also fight fans and nerds and just like love every second of it, that was my favorite part.
I was watching you guys. I was watching you guys on and off because I watch on my phone with a bootleg website. I won't tell you which website, but there's a bootleg website I watch all the UFC on. So I wasn't able to stream all of it, but I was going back and forth, and looks like you guys were having a good time, man. So I was kind of jealous I wasn't there, but hopefully I'll catch the next one.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun, and like I said, just the energy was cool. But let's get into some of the fights. I know you didn't get to see all the fights, but you did see the main and co-main. So we'll start there. Let's start with the main event, man. So
man,
we had Sean O'Malley take on Chito Vera, and I'm gonna be honest, like I'm a fan of both guys, but Chito is just, I have a little bit of more love for him, only because he trains in Southern California. I've met his coach, Jason Perillo. Obviously, we have a friend in Jason Granado who trains with Chito and Perillo. So man, I was pulling for Cheeto,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, you know, he just didn't have the performance we were expecting.
I honestly don't know his game plan. What was his game plan? It was very hard to watch because I was all for Cheeto. I wanted him to beat up that human snow cone. I honestly, I'm not a fan of Sean O'Malley. I don't like the sportsmanship. He has zero sportsmanship. Maybe that's it comes into territory, you know, selling fights and whatever. And I get it. If you don't talk shit, people don't want to come see you. He's a grown man with fluffy ass. He looks like Big Bird coming out dressed. I just don't respect all of that. But Cheeto Vera, you know, he's a family man, clean life, clean lifestyle, you know, all the things he did for his daughter, you know, she was born with like a facial problem, you know, so he's fighting for more than just fame and money and cars. So for me to see him lose like that, it was kind of like, it hurt. But he should have done more. I like that big body shot that he gave O'Malley in I think it was the final round. If he had done more of that in the first 2 rounds, it could have been different. But he just felt like he was shocked at O'Malley's speed and how he was picking him apart, and he didn't really get his groove going. We all know Cheeto kind of starts slow and he needs to take a punch or two. But there's a difference between taking a punch or two and taking a knee in the face and you know, he just took way too much damage and he wasn't able to start, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, I love Cheeto as well, right? Me having like that Mexican descent, you having that Armenian descent, like that immigrant mentality, like anybody who's an immigrant and they come to America to have like a better life, like I have
and to make the most out of it, you know, he's making the best out of his life and making the most out of it in a clean way, not talking shit to people, not making enemies. You know, he's just trying to be a good person, clean living, and just trying to be a different type of fighter, you know, making his like without all the shit talking, you know, just trying to get ahead without building enemies and burning bridges.
He's just over here just putting in that work, you know, like that immigrant hard work mentality, like, you know, and I get it. Like, and to your point, I was surprised not only did I felt like he never really got started, that he didn't go for any takedowns.
Yes.
That was something that I was really surprised because Cheeto has a very underrated grappling pedigree. Obviously, there's rumors out there that Sean is also underrated, but
we haven't really got to see that.
Yeah, we haven't really got to see that. So I was surprised that Cheeto really didn't kind of try to at least grapple and see if he had any success there. But I gotta admit, man, Sean really surprised me. Like his speed, his technique. I was watching Luke Thomas break down the fight afterwards, and he was talking about his entries and his exits, how he would switch stances and he would hop in and then hop out in an angle, like, you know, and I'm seeing that in real time. So you're not getting all that, you're not understanding all of it. You know you're seeing something special, but you don't know exactly what it is. So seeing that Luke Thomas breakdown was like, whoa.
Yeah. You know, I said all this shit about O'Malley. He's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I might not like him. Fighting style-wise, he is amazing. Just personally, I don't like him. But he's classic boxing, you know, just move in, shots, move out, work your angles, just working every angle and every play in your book. You know, he was doing everything, and I think it was too much for Cheeto, especially that knee that landed. And we got to give it up to Cheeto. That knee could have made a hole in the wall. You know, it could have made a hole in some brick walls. That was the hardest knee I've ever seen, and he just ate it and took it like a man and just went for more.
I don't know what this dude is made out of. Like, he has to have maybe a little bit of like some Wolverine type genetics or something, because the way that he's able to take blows and strikes, like you said, a knee to the face, I would have been out for a week.
Yeah.
Dog. You know what I'm saying?
It sounded like he broke his face. Honestly, it sounded like something broke, like there was a broken cheekbone or something. And he wasn't even cut up. He was just swollen, just chilling after the fight. And I give him respect. He was more disappointed that he couldn't perform for his fans and family. And that took more effect on him than the actual loss, I feel like. I feel like he's the type of person that he doesn't want to let people down, and that's going to affect him more in the future. And I don't think we're ever going to see that Cheeto again. I don't think we're ever going to see the Cheeto that is going to be standing there taking those punches again. I think this is going to be a total change in his fight style, and he's going to come out and he's going to change it all up. I don't think we're going to see this again.
Man, I hope so, because honestly, he's still really young. So he has the opportunity to make the changes now and still go on a title run, run for the title.
And Perillo, Perillo's a boxing coach, and he's great at it. And I don't think he's going to let Tito get away with this one. I think they're going to go back to the drawing board, and they're going to really revise the game plan and get him to strike more. I don't think this taking damage and starting off taking damage first 2 rounds is going to pay off. He needs to get on it, start whooping ass from round 1. Less damage.
Yeah, I agree, man. So we'll see what Cheeto looks like in his next fight. Moving on, the co-main event, Dustin the Diamond Poirier taking on this young, hungry, French, ex-military, up-and-comer, Benoit Saint Denis. Like, bro, first of all, Benoit he's fucking good, bro.
Yeah, he is.
Like, I think, Dustin won, but this dude's only, I believe, like 28 or 29. Like, he's not even like in his 30s yet. And this dude looks fucking good, bro. He looks like a killer.
I think Saint Denis was one guillotine choke away from winning. If Dustin Poirier went for another damn choke and he couldn't sink it, I think it was going to be it. I was sitting here shouting at my phone, no more damn chokes. Just strike, bro, strike. I don't know why he kept on going for that. He went for that, what, 4 times and it was unsuccessful?
Something like that.
And he said he's not going to stop. He's like, I'm going to keep on doing it.
And you know what's crazy? On the broadcast is DC, he was on the broadcast. He was like, yo, Dustin keeps going for it because that's like his best submission. And then John Attic was like, he's actually never submitted anybody with a guillotine choke. So it was like,
I guess he just really wants to get him with the guillotine choke. But if he wants to get somebody with the guillotine choke, he should talk to Michael from MLH Media. That motherfucker got me in a guillotine choke twice. So, yeah, maybe take some tips from our boy right there, because you weren't able to pull it off, buddy, and you had the chance a few times. So, yeah, he should stick to that all-out scrap, I think. It's entertaining to see, and that's more of what we want to see, him just throwing it down, and it works out better for him than just sink in a choke and slip out 4 fucking times.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, he put himself in a lot of bad positions because of that. So I think maybe the fight wouldn't. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what the fight would have looked like if he didn't do those chokes? But at the end of the day, they went into a firefight in the second round, and Dustin, with his experience, his boxing, and I gotta give Dustin credit here, because early in his career, he did not have the skills to be able to slip, roll with punches the way that he does now, right? He did it with Conor, knocked out Conor, which broke my heart because I'm a big Conor fan, and he did it again with Saint Denis or Saint Denis.
Yep.
And it's like, a lot of people credit Max as the best boxer. Some people are saying JDM. You know, all of these different fighters are like the best boxer of the UFC, right? But Dustin Poirier definitely needs to get his name thrown in that hat.
100%, 100%. You can't argue with the results. You know, he goes up against what's his face, Conor McGregor, and lays him out like that. He does that to Saint Denis. You can't argue with his striking skills, honestly.
Yeah. So speaking of that, of Dustin and his striking skills and the 155-pound weight division, so we got UFC 300 coming up, and Islam Makhachev I'm sure he's looking at what's going to happen UFC 300 because you got Max Holloway making his not debut, but he's going back up to 155 pounds, challenging Justin Gaethje for the BMF title, which is an interesting fight. And then you got Arman Tsarukyan fighting Charles Oliveira, essentially for that number one contendership, because Charles was supposed to fight Islam. Arman already had a fight against Islam, but really, really young at the time, lost, which was a close fight. It wasn't like he got dominated by any means. So potentially the winner can fight Islam. However, I just saw an interview yesterday where Islam was talking about, I'm trying to fight in June. This fight's in April. UFC 300 is in April, right? It's only 2 months away from June. So, HAYK, do you think because of the way that the lightweight division looks right now and Dustin Poirier's win over Saint Denis that we should just have him fight Islam for the title?
Why not? I guess if it's a short turnaround, but I think that's what the fans want to see, and that's what's up next for them both, right? It's who else are they gonna put him up against? Who else is there to put him up against? You know, so I guess that would be a good matchup. It's just close turnaround, and it all is in the hands of that one bald-headed god that everybody wants to oil up, Dana White. So whatever Papa Dana wants to do, he'll do it. You know, if he wants him to fight in June, I think that's gonna happen. And being UFC 300 coming up so quick, I don't think they're gonna. I think they might push that off for another few months to hype up another big show, maybe another 6 months. But if Dana wants him to fight in June, I still think that's way too early.
Well, not only just, obviously, we got to see what, like you said, Papa Dana wants, right? At the end of the day, it's him, the matchmakers that create the fights. But when you have a champion like Islam Makhachev, who hasn't fought this year and is really, really pushing for a fight, it's like the champion's ready to go, right? And not only do the fans love Dustin Poirier and whoever the Diamond fights is going to be a big fight, but I think what Islam is trying to do is just trying to add more names to the resume. And you got to think about it. He's already fought Oliveira.
Mm-hmm.
He's already fought Arman. He's already fought Gaethje. So who's next? Well, what's next is Dustin.
Yeah.
Unless Max wins against Gaethje, which even then, Max is in a position where if I was Max, I would want to fight Poirier, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, because you don't have why can't I think of his name right now? The Alexander Volkanovski. You don't have Volkanovski as a champion anymore, right? So now Max has an opportunity to fight for that strap. So I don't know, man. I think Dustin Poirier, just because of his strength of schedule, where he's at in the ranking, he's top 5 in the ranking, and because he's available and according to him, didn't take that much damage.
Yeah.
And if the champion wants to fight in June, let's match him up, man.
That is true. You know, it's a big event, but strategically, I think UFC is going to hold it off for a little bit longer, just to hype it up like they've been doing for UFC 300. It's all a money-making industry, so they need to hype it up and sell the tickets. So it might be too early unless they announce it this weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how the MMA gods work.
For real, right? Some of the other fights that happened at UFC 299 was Gilbert Burns versus JDM. I know you didn't get to see the fight, but basically JDM like was just cool, calm, and collected, and really looked like a seasoned veteran, even though he's really young. So if I had a matchmake, if I was the UFC matchmaker, Colby Covington has called out Ian Machado Garry.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to see that fight, because I think the press conference would be fucking bananas,
Hilarious.
right? The reality is like, I'm kind of over the Colby Covington stick, you know?
Yeah.
So I would rather see Colby Covington see him fight Gilbert Burns, because Gilbert Burns is coming off of multiple losses. Covington is coming off a loss. They're both older. Both of them need to win really bad if they want to try to make another title run. Let's match them up. And then we got Ian Machado Garry, who's available. We got MVP, who just beat Kevin Holland. I think that's a good fight right there. I think that's fireworks. They're both really tall, lanky strikers. A lot of people want to see MVP fight Wonderboy, but honestly, I think that's just going to be a boring fight. So I'd rather MVP fight Ian, and I think potentially that could be an interesting fight and press conference as well. What do you think about that, HAYK?
Man, two guys that love to throw it down, you know, that's what all the fans want. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, man. So we'll see what the UFC matchmakers end up putting together. But let's move on to some stuff that's coming up in the near future. All right, HAYK. So we got UFC 300 coming up, right? The main event, Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. So Jamal Hill is coming off of a really crazy injury that happened when he was playing basketball with DC and the boys. He tore his Achilles, I believe. Something along those lines. Alex Pereira is coming off of a win versus Garry, right? Ex-champion. Facing Jamal Hill, man. We got to see Jamal Hill actually at the 298 fan experience. And I was trying to ask him, like, hey, man, you know what's next for the main card for UFC 300? And I think he knew.
He knew what's up.
Homie didn't want to talk to me.
No.
He was like, nah.
He had that little smile on his face. He knew what's up.
So, yeah, like, who do you think is gonna be the favorite to win that fight?
I think Hill is gonna take it.
Okay.
Honestly, coming off of an injury like that, the Achilles is one of the hardest injuries to recover off of. It's gonna take a toll on him, but I think he has a striking power to take him down. He looked a little overweight when we saw him. He did not look like he was in fight shape. But, you know, these guys dropped 30 pounds within a month. So I'm sure his corner knows what they're doing. His fight camp knows what they're doing. But I think he's gonna put into the work and he's gonna take him out. Maybe I'm saying round 2, Hill's gonna take it, knockout.
Right now, I'm going for Alex. I'm leaning towards Alex only because he's had the more consistent schedule. Obviously, Hill is coming off of a really serious injury. And honestly, I would have liked to see Hill. Well, if they were going to make this fight, I would have liked to have seen it maybe in the summer to give Hill a little bit more time to recover. But I know that UFC, they really needed a main event for 300, so I think they kind of like pushed this to the main event. So for me, I think Alex has been improving on his takedown defense. Obviously, he's an animal on the feet. At 205, it looks like his chin is holding up a lot more than it was at 85.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think I'm going with the champ. Chama.
Do you think this was a UFC 300 main event worthy card?
It's definitely a main event worthy card. UFC 300. The reason why I think a lot of fans were not happy, including myself, was because the way Dana hyped this up was like, man, like this is gonna be the best card ever. And granted, I'm gonna be honest,
It's a great card.
on paper, this is probably the best card ever. Like if this was like any other card outside of 300, this was like 302 or whatever. On paper, this is the fucking best card ever. But as far as the main event, like I really wanted Conor McGregor there, bro.
Yeah, somebody like everybody wanted to see something extreme like Conor McGregor versus Brock Lesnar or some shit like that, That's what we expected out of UFC 300, especially with all the hype. Let's say they didn't make all the hype. This would have been a great card that everybody would have been fine with.
Yeah.
But that hype that they put up right before announcing it, it was just, when they announced it, it was like, okay, it's a great card, but not exactly what we expected.
And who knows, maybe they had some plans that were quote unquote better or more fan friendly than the card that we have now. But you know how it is, business, injuries, different things like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't able to come together the way that it was.
There are some good fights on the card, like the Arman Tsarukyan fight. That's gonna be probably one of the best fights of the night.
Yeah, going back down to the card, bro, like the co-main event is the women's strawweight title, which I love Zhang Weili. Like she's just a fucking badass.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of her. And then right before that, you have Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway fighting for the BMF. Like, who doesn't love Max? Who doesn't love Justin?
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be a banger. The fight that you're talking about, Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, right before that, like, Charles is ranked number 1. Arman is ranked number 4, bro. Whoever wins this fight, like, how can you not give them a title shot next?
Seriously.
So it's like, and that's just the main event, bro. You want to go to the prelims? Bro, you got Aljamain Sterling making his featherweight debut. You got Holly Holm fighting Kayla Harrison, who's coming from the PFL. Man, like, there's so many. And another fight that was just announced is Jalen Turner versus Renate Moicano, bro.
Let's go,
like,
Jalen.
Bro, that itself is a main event
Seriously.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and then, bro, Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. These old vets about to sling it out. Like
the gray hair is about to come out, bro. The gray hair fella's about to throw it down.
The first fight on this card. We're talking about early prelims, bro. We're talking about literally the first 2 people that are going to come out. Most of the time on most pay-per-views, it's like some guy that won off on the Contender Series or something like that. Some guys that like just are making their UFC debut. The first fight, bro, Davison Figueiredo, who is a ex-125-pound champ, versus another ex-135-pound champ in Cody Garbrandt, bro.
Yeah.
That's the first fight of the whole card. Like, if this card is not the best card ever.
On paper, it's amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
On paper, it's an amazing card. It's just the whole hype that fucked us up. It's just, they shouldn't have made that hype. It would have been all good. You look on paper, the matchmaker did an amazing job. They did their homework on this one. Dana signed off on it. It's an amazing card. It's just, your marketing strategy was all fucked up, UFC. That's all.
Yeah, man. Well, either way, I'm excited about this card. I know we're going to be going to Vegas to capture some of the moments, some of the fan excitement, get some predictions out there, all this cool stuff. So I'm excited, man. We're going to go to Vegas, get to experience UFC 300. And is there any, like, out of all the fights, every fight is a banger. Out of all the fights, What is the fight that like you're most excited for?
Well, me being Armenian, I'm excited for the Armen Tsarukyan fight. You know, just him being a countryman of mine, I always take pride in seeing my Armenians win. You know,
Yeah.
so I want to see him put in the work and go for a title shot. You know, so that's going to be the fight of the night for me. It's a stacked card. You know, the main event's going to be. I'm going to watch it, and it's going to be a great fight. But the Armen Tsarukyan fight is going to be mine.
Yeah, for me, man, I think it's the BMF title. Like, I'm excited because Justin Gaethje, the past few fights has just really, he's really just took his fighting to another degree. Like, him and his coach have just dialed in his technique and just his fighting style. You know, early on in his career, he was just this reckless, like, wrecking ball. And he's been able to just have this intentional aggression. And I just love seeing it. And then Max Holloway, bro, it's like, who doesn't love Max? And Max is still young. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't understand. Like, he's still, I think, like 31, 32. Like, he's really young still for the division. So I'm really excited to see him come back to the lightweight division and see if he can, you know, make an impression and maybe even go for a title run at the lightweight division. One thing I did want to talk about outside of MMA was our boy King Callum Walsh just fought yesterday. Had an amazing fight. Just won a title.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that fight, man. Like, what did you think of Callum's performance?
Bro, he is an artist, you know. There's those guys in because I'm a boxer. I've been boxing since I was 10 years old. I love the technique. He has old school boxing technique, and he's just like the epitome of boxing. You know, we kind of lost that the style, and we lost the fire in boxing for a while with Floyd Mayweather and all those bullshit ass boxers, but he's bringing it back. You know, he has the look, he has the style, he has the technique.
He's from Ireland.
He has the attitude, you know, and he has the bloodline to go along with it.
He got the Irish people juice, you know.
So yeah, bro, he's a nice dude, a good fighter. So I'm all happy for it. One thing I'm pissed off at is Tapology. Tapology.com, bro. You guys need to make a fucking app because these fat fingers, I had Caleb Walsh winning in the third round. I don't know how my fat fingers got the other dude in fucking lost that. I would have had a perfect record, but you fucked it up, Tapology. So fix your shit, get an app going. Yeah, sorry about that tangent. But yeah, Caleb Walsh, he's a fucking badass. What do you think about him?
Yo, Caleb is just that guy, bro. Like, in the sense of he's 9-0.
Yeah.
Now 10-0. And he had 7 KOs before. Now he has 8. So literally 80% finish rate. So who doesn't love that, right? And then, like, the guy he fought was definitely a step up in competition. And I was really excited for this fight because I thought it was going to go all 12 rounds. I really did. I thought, like, okay, this is going to be a really good test for Callum. But nah, man, like, he just looked sharp, bro. The whole fight, he just looked really sharp. And I was really excited. The fact that he has boxing fans already excited, but he has this relationship with the UFC and Dana White and Tony Ferguson, who Tony was there in the beginning of his pro career. So, yeah, man, I'm really excited. I think he's one of those fighters that if he just continues to work hard, he's really young, 23 years old, he can just become a star. He already has over 100K followers on Instagram. He's dating Tabitha Ricci, who she has a bunch of followers as well. So, like, he's in the perfect place if he just continues to do what he's doing, that in the next year or two, like, we're going to be talking about Callum Walsh like we talk about Ryan Garcia, like we talk about Tank Davis, like we talk about all of these stars. Just 1 or 2 more years, bro.
Dude, what I wonder is when Caleb and Tabitha go on a date, what do they do? Just spar each other?
You know what's funny? I'm actually glad you brought that up because I was literally thinking on my way over here, I was like, man, like we're going to talk about Caleb and he did such a great job. And I started thinking like, yo, like, I'm sure Tabitha, sometimes she'll just try to choke homeboy. Like, out. Like, they're like doing their thing, maybe getting intimate, whatever. She goes, come here. And she just like, just gives like a little real naked real quick. Like, you know, hey, guillotine choke. So, hey, Caleb, you got to be careful, my guy. Your
Seriously.
girl is, you know, she a killer, bro. So just be careful what you say, man.
Seriously, dude. Don't break up with that girl, you know?
Hey, but in all honesty, not only is Caleb a great fighter, but he was really nice to meet in person. We got to meet him at the 298 fight experience or fan experience in Anaheim, and man, he was really kind with his time. He was willing to talk to us. MLH, Mike Hernandez, our guy, ended up getting the interview with him. So yeah, shout out to Caleb. We love you. We need to get you on the pod, my guy.
Yeah.
Come to the pod. Let's get that interview. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Is there any other fights coming up? I know the UNF card here in Southern California is coming up. Like, talk to me about some of the fights.
That's gonna be a stack. Like Narek Avagian, we're actually about to go meet up with him. That's gonna be a crazy fight. I call him a mini Gulo. If you guys know who Gulo is, he's like a mini Gulo. It's gonna be a crazy fight, but the fight I'm really, really looking forward to, and we talked about this before, was Barkev and Nathan Hawthorne. Dude, oh my God, it's like fans have. Like, it's a fan favorite. You know, if you're a fan of MMA, if you're a fan of striking, if you're a fan of grappling, this is the fight for you. It has top level guys. You know, these guys are at the top of their skill levels right now, and they both are nice dudes, and they're just gonna go out and fucking kill each other, bro.
And what's crazy, bro, is like they're still amateurs.
Yeah.
And like the level of skills that they have as MMA fighters, I'm more familiar with Hawthorne, with Nathan. Obviously, he's a Muay Thai champion. Potentially, he's going to be fighting for a kickboxing champion in the near future. The fact that they're still amateurs and so young in their careers, man, I can only imagine in a year or two what that's going to look like.
I feel like this level of amateurs has, they're at the top level of amateurs. At this level, these amateurs are better than the next step up pros, I think. They're at that level where they're fighting to become pros, and I believe they are better than the next level of pros.
Yeah, that's a big statement, man.
It is, but I stand by it, and these guys would prove me right this week, next coming weekend.
Man, I just think that fight in particular is going to be such a really good fight. And what I'm excited for is that it's happening in the amateurs, right? So that way it doesn't go on their pro record. But whoever wins, I honestly think they might have to face each other off again in the pros, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've been waiting for a fight like this. The hardest part for me in this fight is to cheer for somebody.
Yeah,
I can't cheer for anybody. You know, Nathan's my boy. Barkev's my boy too. It's like, I've known these guys for a long time, you know, kind of followed their careers. So to see them fight against each other, it's like, you want to see them both win. You don't want to see any of these guys lose because they're great guys. You know, the other day at Fighters Rep, I was talking to both of them at the same time, bro. They're standing next to each other. They're cool with each other. You know, there's none of that hate, you know, like they're about to go and take each other's head off in 2 weeks. But they were standing there next to each other like real fucking men, respecting each other, shook each other's hand. And I love seeing that. I love the level of respect that they have. And it's hard not to cheer for both of these guys.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for that fight. Is there any other fight on the UNF card that you're really excited for?
Oh, the Nautic of Again, that I think that might be the main event. Or I just like the dude. Honestly, all the UNF cards have been amazing. The amateurs, Ryan Buckner, that dude is a genius with picking these fights. He's an awesome matchmaker, and he impresses us every single time. You know, I was looking at the card earlier. Jesus, oh, this the championship lightweight title. Enriquez and what's his last name? David Rojas is fighting. That's one of my boys. That's gonna be it's a stacked card. I don't know. I'm excited for this. I'm glad I could be there. That's all, you know.
Yo, HAYK, I also gotta shout out my guy, bro. Training out of Black House, Christian De Guerrero, bro. He literally just fought for Star MMA and finally got a bout, bro. I love his story. I don't know if you know too much about him, but
No, don't.
Christian has fought in the amateur ranks, the who's who, and he has only lost literally to like the top guy. I think he only has 2 losses on his record. Finally has a bout. I want to see him defend it a couple times. Dude is still young. I think he's like 21 or something like that, bro. And he can definitely be one of those guys in the near future at the lighter weights, 125, 135, maybe even 145 pounds, that you definitely got to pay attention to. Then another guy that I also wanted to bring up who's finally going pro is your boy, Hamza Trad, bro.
Ooh.
Like, I'm so excited to see what his pro career looks like and who they're going to match him up with for his debut at pro.
Dude, there's a few fighters in the game that when you look at them, you're like, this is what all young fighters should try to mimic. Hamza is one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, when you look at the dude, his technique is perfect. His feet placement are there at the right place at the right time. He thinks ahead. If he's throwing the right hand, he's already setting up the second or third punch after that, or the kick. He is one of the best fighters out there. He's gonna have a good career. He's gonna face some awesome opponents, and he's gonna take care of all of them, I believe. He is one of the top fighters out there, and he's gonna be a champion soon.
Dude, Hamza, Christian, you have these guys who are so young and started training mixed martial arts and martial arts at such a young age. They're the new breed of martial artists, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you got a lot of these guys in the UFC. Now, I know some of them are phasing out, but you have them starting training MMA older in their career, right? Whether they're like in their 20s or whatever, and they've had success. But these guys like Hamza, Christian, Nate, like all these different guys, they have been training martial arts since they were kids, bro. So I'm so excited to see what the next 10 years of martial arts is going to look like, MMA specifically, because, dude, you got like killers now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you also have to give an account that it's more accessible.
Yeah.
Back when we were growing up, I trained at the old county jail. Our rings were in cells. Those were the only places I could train. It was only another gym in Glendale and the old county jail. And let me bring a future champion over here.
A future champion.
She's going to be a BJJ champion. Come over here. Watch out for her in the UFC. Yeah. Yeah, you're good. Everybody, I want to introduce my daughter. She's going to be a UFC champion one day. She wants to go and fight. Go to mama. Yeah, but what were we at?
I mean, dude, like you said, your daughter's going to be a champion one of these days.
Yes, she is. She's a little badass.
Dude, and another guy, I mean, let me help you out, bro. You gotta flip this
bro.
around. We got the Hebrew Hammer, dude.
You know, I got to represent the Hebrew Hammer, Jonathan Tesla. Him and his dad, they're like, I've never seen a team like that. His dad puts in so much work for him so he can get to the next level. And this kid is training with top level fighters. Like he trains with Taco, and he's a next level fighter.
I believe he's only like 16 or 17.
17 years old, bro. So he is starting off his career, and much love to him, the Hebrew Hammer. Yeah, watch out for him because he's one of those guys like Hamzat, you know. The technique is on point. Everything is done with a reason, and it has a point to it. He doesn't strike if he doesn't need to, you know? So
100%, man.
I love those type of fighters, you know, the technique. The technique. And, oh, yeah, we were talking about gyms. Like, a lot more gyms are popping up nowadays. There's gyms everywhere. So these kids have a lot more accessibility to higher class training, higher skilled trainers, because every generation it's just building and building and building. And the black belts of yesterday are opening up gyms of their own, and they're teaching black belts, and it's just spreading like that.
100%, man. And you know, we've already been on the pod for quite a while, so I want to wrap it up. Everything you said is so true, and like you said, I think that you have kids nowadays that when you ask them, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? They're like, oh, I want to be the next UFC superstar.
Yeah.
So that's amazing, bro. So in the next 10 years, martial arts is just going to be that much better.
100%.
You got any final words, any shout outs, any things that you want to just say to the fight fans out there?
Bro, you know, just keep your eye out for us. You know, we're out here doing our thing. We're going to be out there at UFC 300. We got a bunch of other content coming out. You know, we're about to take off to a gym and do some work with our boy right now. So just keep your eyes out for us. You know, we're going to be out there. And yeah, that's about it.
Man, I just want to thank you guys for once again joining us on this journey. This has been another episode of Fight Fan Culture Podcast. Me and HAYK. And man, like HAYK said, just be on the lookout. We got so much things cooking behind the scenes, and we're excited to bring all this amazing content to you guys. And if you guys have any questions, suggestions, anything, please drop a comment down below, and we'll see you on the next one. This has been another episode of the Fight Fan Culture Podcast, and we out.